Alrighty, hello everyone, welcome back to the stream. Yeah, so Gunforged launched yesterday, it released yesterday, and this is the Steam page here, and it's got positive reviews, 88% positive reviews. So I would say for my first commercial release, that is a good review ratio. Obviously, I'm gonna want to bump that up in the future, get that over 90%, over 95%, that would be nice. Some of the negative reviews are coming from technical issues, which I think can be resolved. So maybe some of that can be reversed a little bit. But yeah, so far so good. So thank you all for purchasing it. Thank you all for checking it out. I would say that the launch day was overall a success. And yeah, so far the sales should help my budget quite a bit. So yeah, I think that's... yeah, I think it's good. So thank you everyone for checking it out and purchasing it. Very much appreciate that. And again, if you haven't purchased it yet, you can go over to the Steam page. The link is in the description below. There's a 20% launch discount right now as of this streaming. So yeah, definitely take advantage of that if it's something that you're interested in. And of course, that's a great way to help me out as well as I try this full-time indie dev stuff. So anyway, what are we going to be doing today? Today I've got some fixes to do related to some of the feedback that came in from the launch. And yeah, I've got a couple of bugs to fix. I'm going to add an option to disable pixelization, so the chunky pixel stylized look. I'm going to add an option to disable that because a lot of people for some reason thought that there was like issues with rendering with the low pixel resolution. So I think the way to fix that is just going to be to expose a way for people to disable the pixel rendering mode, which is going to change the style of the game a little bit, but should make the gameplay experience a little bit nicer for those people. And then I want to do some tutorial improvements. I've got a couple of points of feedback about how the tutorial is not super clear, or it's not super clear what the gun parts do. So yeah, I'm going to be trying to work through some of this today, and we'll see here. But yeah, before I get started, let me see. Oh goodness, my whole... Oh no, hold on. My OBS is bugging out here. Can I fix this? There we go, okay. All right, so yeah, before we get started, I'm gonna get through your chats. So, hello Polaris, welcome back. Hello Brian, what's up? Thank you CodeStar, very much appreciate that. Hello Helder. Don't know if people have faced it, but in my case, when multiple potions drop and I grab them, only one of them counts towards the health bar. Interesting. Was your health wasn't full? Or did you perhaps take damage at the same time? I could check that out. Add Venchar. I'm too broke, sorry, that's all right. You can also support my work by just subscribing, liking the video, watching my videos. That's also a great way to help. I released a devlog, the final Gunforged devlog yesterday as well. So if you're interested, please check that out. Get my watch time numbers up, you know? Gotta get that YouTube ad revenue. But no, if you can't purchase, that's totally fine. There are other free ways to support me, which I have just mentioned, so yeah. Artindi. Sadly, I can't stay for long. I have to go to work, but after, I'll try to pick up the game to help your launch. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Advenchar. Thank you, Helder. Ivory, how the launch went. It went great. It went really good. So I think I would say that it's a modest success, especially for my first serious release, and especially since the Gunforged development was not that smooth in terms of just like working through a bunch of problems and all that, but it's I would say that yeah, it's a modest success for me being sort of new to this. I do have to now build another game and release that before the end of the year, so probably we'll be starting work on that maybe sometime this week. But yeah, you had like 1 out of 3. Okay, I'll test that. I watched it and really liked your videos. Thank you. How can you already say that after 24 hours? Well, I mean, I have all the sales data And I don't think, I mean, the launch day is definitely going to be the most volume of sales. So especially since I did like a whole, like I launched the YouTube video and I did a bunch of other stuff. So the sales are just going to be trickling in now, I think, the rest of the week. And then my hunch is that after this week, the sale volume is going to drop precipitously. So it's not going to, I don't think it's going to blow up or anything like that. So basically just going on how yesterday went. You know what it might be? Helder, it might be that you saw the potion icon, because the potion icon that like points down to the potion on the ground is the same art as the potion. So it might just be that that's what you saw. Because I got a comment about that too, like it looks like there's 2 potions instead of 1. I actually think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I have it in the game that it's not possible for another health potion to drop if there's already one on the floor. So theoretically, it shouldn't even be possible for 2 health potions to exist at the same time. So that might be what it was. Maybe I should make that more clear. I'm starting my game dev journey and your videos are great. How awesome. Congrats on the release. Any plans for the next game? When are we going to hear more about it? Yeah, Luan, I do have plans for the release of the next game. I think what I'm going to do is, I mean, I have several ideas that I wanted to prototype, but I'm trying to think. I have to think about it some more, but the game that I wanted to make and that I still want to make is a online co-op, sort of like RPG roguelike. So I actually have some mock-ups for it, which I've shown before. Let's see if I can see this. Yeah, so I don't know, this is just like some art mock-ups, but yeah, doing like yeah, just like an action RPG with loot and randomized levels and all that kind of stuff, but online co-op, so you can hop in with your friends and play it. So I built it online from the ground up, but yeah, the problem that I don't know, like I said, I have to make and finish a game before year end, so that might be too much to do. But so I might have to spend a little bit of time prototyping some ideas. But yeah, I don't know, we'll see. How did the launch go? Are you rich now? No, not rich, but I would say, like I said, I would say it's a modest success. Yeah, I would say that it's good for my first commercial release. I would say I'm happy with it. It's not nothing super impressive, nothing that's gonna, you know, allow me to retire. But no, it's good. I'm very appreciative of all the support. Already bought for me and a friend and love it. Oh, very nice. Thank you. 100% didn't just know where to give feedback. I'm myself converting from software dev into game dev, and you've really been an awesome teacher, so keep it up. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's probably what it was. Boogie W. Congrats on the launch. Hope it went well. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. All right. So let's see what we're doing here. So there's a couple of minor issues here that I'm going to go ahead and fix. So this one, the gun part preview does not get dismissed when equipping gun parts. So that one is, I actually noticed that while I was playing yesterday. So the other thing I did is I streamed to Steam for 3 hours. I streamed the gameplay of the game, and now I've got it just on a perpetual loop. So if you go to the Steam page, you'll see that I'm playing the game, but it's not actually me. Or it is me, but just me in the past. It's just a looped video. So that was pretty fun. Although I had a really hard time finding a streaming service that would do that. I tried like 3 different streaming services and none of them worked. Because I'm just using a third-party service, so I don't have to keep my computer on and streaming. Anyway. So let's see. So if I drag this over, you can see that that preview is not cleared on that right-hand side, which is kind of annoying. So I'm going to need to fix that. I think that's going to be in the Gunforged UI here. So all of these fixes that I'm going to do probably will be released today. And then depending on how it goes, what I might do tomorrow is I might start on... Tomorrow's stream might just be like a prototyping stream where I take one of the ideas I have for my next game and just build it But we'll see. I do have an idea for a game that I did start building already like a couple months ago, so I might continue with that. I'm not sure though. So this update part comparisons. Covered part index. I think I need to call update part comparisons here. Where is this called? On-gun part focus exited. Drag began. I think that's all I need to do. But let me see. Hello, Ariane. Thank you so much. Very much appreciate that. Do you have plans for DLC for our content updates? I mean, at the volume that Gunforged is selling right now, I don't think that it would just be economically worthwhile. Which is kind of like a, I know that's kind of like a dirty thing to say, especially for the players that really like the game and want more of it. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on the sales this week and, you know, we'll see. But the nature of me having a limited budget is that, like, I basically have until the end of the year to either make more money or I'm going back to a normal job. So, you know, that's the unfortunate thing about it. But stuff is still kind of up in the air. So, you know, if Gunforged maintains like a very strong sales volume for some reason, I will definitely consider that. But yeah, I have to make economic decisions, unfortunately. How many lines of code does this game have? I do not know. I don't know. Is there a way to easily check that in VS Code? Will you be able to keep as a full-time game dev? Assuming the next game sale goes relatively well, I'm kind of just like, every time I release a course or like Gunforged is released now, it's extending my runway by like a month or two at a time. And so like, as long as I can keep doing that, I can go indefinitely. But I would love to have a game that does like tens of thousands of dollars of revenue. That would give me so much breathing room. Rename the bugs as unintended features and close all tickets. Yeah. Actually, the bug reports are not that bad. These bugs that I'm logging here are actually bugs that I personally noticed when I was playing. And the other bugs that players have mentioned are unfortunately related a lot to like NVIDIA and the NVIDIA drivers. Some players are reporting crashes, which I suspect are also related to NVIDIA drivers, the broken NVIDIA drivers. So that was the other bad thing, is like I got a couple of negative reviews or negative feedback because of the NVIDIA driver update issue. And it's like, of course, that issue that NVIDIA would botch their driver update that breaks Godot games specifically, of course that would happen right when I'm going to launch my game. So maybe I should have delayed the launch until the fix, but I didn't know when the drivers are going to be fixed. So if they don't fix the issue for months, I'd just be sitting on Gunforged, you know? So it's like, it was kind of unfortunate, but you know, that's life. Those things just happen sometimes and nothing I can do about it, you know? Thank you, MasterCard. Appreciate that. Hello, Boyer. Thank you. I think... Oh, well done for the launch. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Snupbill, for the IDR 20,000. That's very generous. Thank you, thank you, thank you. VS Code counter extension works well. Should I install that? Are you guys curious? Counter. Is this it? Oh, no. VS Code counter. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I trust. Okay, so how do I use it? VS Code count lines in workspace. Let's see. C#. 35,000, is that what it is? 35,000 lines of code. Comment, 64 comments, blank. Yeah. So 35,000 excluding comments and blank lines. That's not terrible. That's probably a little bit lower than I would have guessed, but not bad. I've been dreaming about being a full-time indie game dev from time to time, but the financial instability discourages me. Yeah, I think I mentioned in one of my videos that I published a little bit, I guess a couple months ago now, that the whole reason that I'm able to do this is, number one, I have some income coming in from the Udemy courses, which you all have been buying, which is greatly appreciated. It's not enough to allow me to sustain indefinitely, but I also have a huge financial safety net. So there is no future in which I lose my home, for instance. Like, that's just not possible the way that the math works out. So when I say that I have to get a new job if I don't make enough money, what I really mean is when I run out of the liquid funds that I have in my savings account, I'm going to go find another job, even though technically I could like liquidate a lot of my financial investments, but I'm not going to do that because that's like for retirement. You know, the whole point of investing is you don't touch it for decades. And so I'm not going to dip into that if at all possible. Maybe you could pop up a warning when you detect those outdated drivers. I wonder, that's a good idea. I wonder if there's a way to do that. Let's see. Maybe I'll write that down. Try detecting drivers. I might try to do that, because that would be a really great help, I think. That's a good idea. Geep or GP, whichever one. Geep sounds funny. I'm going to say that. I have to admit that if someone as good and well-grounded as you end up not being able to make it, really makes me feel like it'd be super hard for myself. I'll tell you what, it's really hard. It is really hard. And part of it is I feel like I just don't have a natural... So it's weird. I think game development is something that I want to do, but I think that the way that I have my natural skills are, I don't... How do I want to put this? I don't have a natural inclination for being good at game dev. It's something that I have to work really hard at and like be really intentional about and spend a lot of time with. And then there are other people who just have like a creative mind that, you know, they can very easily or with relative ease design really fun games. And it's like, that's not me. So, you know, I think, you know, a lot of it is like just me having to go through a lot of learning. But it is very difficult. It's very, very hard. Do you prefer XML over JSON for data? No, I use JSON. Yeah, I use JSON. You look too young to take on an early withdrawal on a 401k on IRA. Yeah, I mean, I don't even have, most of my money's not even in that. I'm all in on S&P 500 and other things because the whole point is I want to have that money available to me before I'm like elderly, you know? So I actually don't invest in traditional retirement accounts because it's kind of a waste of money. But the tax break is nice if you have enough disposable income. All right, so let's see. Yeah, so I think I fixed that gun part preview. I'm gonna plug in my controller here. Oops. Plug in my controller here. And let's see if this works. Oops. You can direct a Roth to an index fund and not pay any taxes on gains. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Problem is I'm not really investing anymore because I don't have... all of my income is going to keeping me afloat here. Okay, so the controller seems to work with the... yeah, with the gun part preview, so I just needed to make sure that this is working now. Cool. Okay, so we fixed that. Oh, goodness, what's in here? Let's get rid of all these. Well, let's commit this first. Okay, so Gunforged UI, so fix gun part stats not updating after equip. Okay, so that's good. We'll just move along here. Phantom gun, yeah, so I noticed that the phantom gun does not appear to be attacking bosses, and I don't know why. So let's see. Invest in a long term. When you are young, you have the energy to work, even if you are already rich. Yeah. I was glad to see controller support. That was an unexpected bonus. Yeah, I'm glad I did controller support. A lot of people have commented that they really enjoyed it, and I've got a couple people playing on Steam Deck, so that's nice. So I'm glad that I ultimately ended up doing that. I mean, I joked on X/Twitter that people people bullied me into adding controller support because they kept saying you should do it, you should do it, you should do it. But I am glad that I did it. I am glad that I let myself get bullied into adding it, because I think it was overall a positive for the game. So I'm going to try something here. Let's see. Max waves 2, boss interval 1. Cool. Okay, I'm going to go to my dungeon level. This is probably not going to work right, actually. You know what I should do? Well, let's see. Add passive phantom gun. So I'm not going to be able to actually very well test this. So let's do this instead. Phantom gun. Imaginary friend. Let's turn up the loot weight to like 50,000 or whatever it is. Max waves, boss wave interval. I don't really have a good way of testing this, but maybe I'll just look at the code and see if I can suss out why the phantom gun is not targeting bosses, but there might be something weird that I did with the targeting there. Hello, Neozoid, welcome. For twin stick shooters, controller is a must-have. Yeah, it seems like it. It seems like it. Welcome, Alexander, by the way. Now get bullied into joining Blue Sky. I'm gonna have to take a look at my I'll have to take a look at my social media presence. In terms of like Discord server and just having accounts on other platforms. The reason I don't have a Blue Sky account or a Discord is because it's just, it's too much. Like, I have a really hard time. I leave my own mother on red on text messages for several hours at a time because I just hate having my attention stolen from me by notifications, and sometimes I'm in a groove with a train of thought and I just don't want to be distracted. So adding more vectors for distractions is not exactly my cup of tea, but I do think that I'm going to need at least a Discord server for the next game, especially if it's going to be an online multiplayer game. I think I'm going to need some early play testers, so Discord will be a perfect place for that, I think. 50 viewer market. Yeah, this is the most viewers I've had on a stream ever, so welcome to all the new viewers and the lurkers out there. Yeah, I wonder, my devlog that I released yesterday at the same time as the game is doing numbers. Like, you could say it's a mini viral for me. Let's see. Yeah, so in like 24 hours, it's gotten 7,500 views, which is more views in a 24-hour period than any other video I've made. So yeah, that's great. Amazing progress, thank you. Low social bandwidth, yeah. Yeah. Are you in a pirate software server? No. For the same reason I just mentioned, I'm not in many Discord servers because just the notifications drive me nuts. In the name of all lurkers, we love the game as well. Thank you, Jose. I would like to join the tester. Yeah, I will make it known if and when I have a Discord and how you can become a playtester. I'm still trying to think if I should do something like tie like being an early playtester to some kind of like monthly, you know, like YouTube membership or something. I don't know if I want to do that, but I have to, like I said, I have to sit down and like think about these things a little bit. We could share your streams there for a couple more people to join. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Thank you, Ju Games. Very much appreciate that. Just watch your composition over inheritance video, inspired a newbie dev. Awesome, thank you. The Scots Mav. Glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, a lot of people A lot of people enjoyed that composition video for sure. Yeah, so look, this gun is not shooting it's not shooting anything on this wave, actually. So let's take a look at the Phantom gun here. Oops. So, target acquisition disabled. It might be this. You know what I might actually do? Is wave running. So what I might do in here is I actually have the game running already, so on target, let's put a breakpoint there and let's go to attach to process here. I'll run that. Godot. Okay, so let's see. Target acquisition disabled is true. Okay, so that's why. Now, why is target acquisition disabled true? On wave running started. So it's not listening to this wave running started for some reason. If not is boss wave. Why? That doesn't seem right to me. Yeah, that's probably the whole problem. Wave running started. That's actually going to bug out the increasing damage passive. So for some reason, I'm not emitting this signal. If it's a boss wave, I think what I did was I was just putting it alongside this wave duration timer without thinking about it. So this actually needs to be... I'm just going to put this up here. And since that's used by the increasing damage passive, that was going to be broken as well. So I'm fixing 2 bugs with 1 stone. Okay, so that should be fine now. So I'm actually going to... Let's just close that. Go back in, test it again. It should work now. Hello, Rin. Welcome back. Great to see you. How we doing? We're doing good, my Kundev. We're doing good. If the game was released yesterday, why is it already 20% off? That's the launch discount. That's a very common thing to do on Steam, is to have a launch discount. Yeah, I figured 20% off would be a... I don't know. I feel like that's a good discount. So, yeah. I'm sure it'll be on sale, too, within the next several months. As like a Steam partner or whatever, I have access to all the sale dates. I can see when all the sales are happening. I can't reveal them because for NDA reasons, but everyone knows that Steam does several sales throughout the year, so. Okay, cool. So the Phantom gun is now working. I'm just gonna go through another wave here and just make sure that this is all good to go. It was one of the best moments when you realize how much you've been fighting the engine to make it do what you want. Yeah. Was one of those moments when you realize how you've been fighting the engine to make it do what you want, yeah. By the way, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the topic, but how would you say mobile game levels should be made? Handcrafted or made systems as rules? Honestly, I do not know. I don't know anything about... Well, first of all, I don't really know much about level design. And secondly, I don't know anything about mobile development. My understanding is that mobile development is a whole different beast. That kind of has its own sort of patterns and standards. So, but beyond that, I don't know. Sorry about that. Hello, Aramis. Welcome. Just wanted to stop by and say congrats on the launch. Cheers. Thank you. I appreciate that. Very much appreciated. Yeah, everyone check out Aramis's channel. He's building Hexagod. It's that game looks awesome too, so check that out for sure. I'm doing great, Splat. How are you doing? Thank you, thank you. For my first game, I found that discounts are the main drivers of sales. That's what I've heard. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely keep that in mind. You almost want to like overprice your game so that when you engage a sale, it's like down, it gets discounted to what your actual target price is. That's just how people work, I guess. That's just the psychology of it. The dates for the sale should be secret, but everyone knows the actual dates. Yeah. Okay, I think that bug is fixed now, so we'll go ahead and mark that as complete. I gotta make sure not to commit any of these big changes here. So this needs to go back to the way it was. Oh wait, there used to be a, yeah, revert. There we go. All right, so we just revert those lines and then keep that there. Perfect. Okay, and then these, yeah, phantom gun, that needs to go away. That's not great. Okay. Fix phantom gun not attacking bosses. Okay, let's go ahead and commit that. Moving along. I'm going to add this next, this option to disable pixelization. I want to see what that looks like. Hello, Cyanator. I was surprised that the price is so low. Don't you think it's too cheap? No, I don't. I don't think so. I mean, you can read some of the feedback, and I think a lot of the feedback is valid. I think that for what the game is and for the amount of hours I think that players are going to get out of it, I think that $8.99 is a fair price, and even like the $7.20 or $7.19 discount, I think it's fine. I don't think I shortchanged the game at all. I think it's a fair price. Big congrats on the release. Thank you. Thank you, Jackie Daytona. Played Gunforged for 4 hours yesterday. A lot of fun. Thank you. Yeah, I'm getting some. Yeah, that's the thing I'm learning too about feedback and stuff. Is like, it's really hard to just kind of figure out what to do with player feedback sometimes, because there are players like yourself who say, yeah, I played it for several hours and I had an amazing time. And then there are other players who are like, this is kind of boring. It gets old after a while. Like the levels are boring. And it's like, I don't know what to do. I think it's just a matter of you can't make everyone happy. And so at the end of the day, it's just kind of like you have to make the decision as the developer as like what feedback is actually actionable. And sometimes the feedback is just like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry that you don't like it. We'll just have to leave it at that. Like some of the feedback I got is like, I've mentioned this before, but it's kind of funny. People are like, I don't want to play as this old guy. Like they don't like the main character. And it's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. Like of course I could add different playable characters or like skins or something, and that would be a way like around that. But like that's the character I designed, and that's the character that I like. And so I'm sorry that you don't like playing as the old, crazy man, but I don't know what you want me to do with that feedback, So I laugh because it's kind of funny. Like I didn't think it's funny because I didn't think that the character in just kind of like a simple roguelite shooter game was going to be that big of a sticking point for some people. I just thought, like, I figured, yeah, some people aren't going to like this character, but whatever. It's like, it's just a really minor thing. But I guess that's not the case. So I think for my next game is like add more character customization if possible, or just have multiple playable characters. Yeah, that's a good suggestion, Mycoon. I've seen that using a site for the to-do list. Is that? Oh, it's the Obsidian note-taking app with the Kanban community plugin. You need to find your audience. Yeah, you're gonna end up with a camel if you try to implement every suggestion. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to get into a design by committee situation either, because that doesn't work ever. Do you have analytics in your game that can show you where players are stuck? I do not know. What site is on the screen right now? It's not a site, it's the Obsidian note-taking app. Yeah. Yeah, Obsidian. Okay, so let's figure out, so this pixelization, so I got some comments like, people thought that this kind of pixelation was a bug rather than like a stylistic choice. And some people also mentioned that the numbers look crunchy, which is like, that's what happens when you're rendering a low pixel game. But I think what I can do to make those kinds of people happy that are bothered by the lack of visual clarity in the text and stuff is, I think what I can do is I can go to my project settings here, my display. I think I can just add an option where it uses canvas item stretch mode. And that can be, I think that can change at runtime. And so that's it's going to stylistically change the game, but it's going to fix that. Oh, you know what? It ruins my outline shaders though. But you can see now how the text is nice and smooth and not crunchy at all. So, okay, so interesting. So yeah, everything becomes smoother, like the shadows are like perfect circles and yeah. The problem though is that the outline shader is always 1 pixel instead of adjusting to the texel size, I guess you would call it. So this actually does feel kind of nice in a way. And then the banners here become a lot smoother. That text doesn't get chunked up anymore. But you can see those outlines are super thin. So if I can figure out a way to get my outline shader to be the full texel size instead of a single pixel, then I think I can add this option. The other thing I should do is I should make sure that I can change this at runtime. I'm pretty sure that I can, but let's just see. So I'll change this back to viewport and then figure out how to change that dynamically here. So if I go to my phantom gun, I don't need this anymore. Yeah, let's get rid of this. Phantom gun. The main loop is there. I just wish there was more content in all directions. Gun perks. Granted, I still need to unlock more stuff. Yeah, some of the unlocks are yeah, maybe a little bit steep. I wonder if I should change that. People just want, yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Weird feedback. Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to discourage people from giving me feedback. I'm laughing at it because it's like, it's just humorous to me, that's all. Not trying to denigrate any of the feedback at all. Absolutely adore your game. Thank you, Nepal Via. Very much appreciate that. Thank you. Analytics is a key to decide what to do with people's feedback. IDK is their solution for Steam games, but I think there is something. I have not dug into it. I think that Steamworks might have some kind of analytics feature, or there's a way of tracking like statistics in Steamworks, which could be analytics, but I haven't looked that far into it. Like, I don't think Gunforged is that complex to require analytics, which I've mentioned before. Like, it's not, the systems are not super deep, super complex. Good morning, Christopher. How's the launch numbers been so far? Pretty good, yeah, pretty good. I would say it's for my first commercial release, I think it's a pretty decent success for sure. Thank you for asking. Literally shared the stream in the server. It's up with 15 people. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so what am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm gonna see if I can change that stretch mode. So what I'm gonna do in here is update window mode. So I'm probably gonna want to do something similar here. Public. Where's update window mode called actually? Update window mode. Yeah, so in load. So I'll probably put this in here. Or I'll do a separate method. Update stretch mode. Private static void update stretch mode. Let's see. Display server dot stretch. Okay, so it's not that. I see. It's got to be in the display server, right? Is there like a enum in here? Let's see, enum feature, mouse mode, screen orientation, virtual keyboard type, cursor shape, window mode, window flags, window event, vsync mode, handle type. Okay, I'm gonna have to Google how to change stretch mode. Change window or display stretch mode. Content scale mode? That doesn't sound right. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. Very nice. Okay, so this would be then... Wait, can I do this in here? There's probably not even a tree available yet, because I need to reference the tree. So is there a, like an enter tree or something here? This is a node. So ready. So here's what I'll do. Public override void enter tree. This is where I'll call update stretch mode here. And then in here, get tree instance dot get tree root dot content scale mode is equal to scale mode canvas items. So I'm just going to throw that in there just to make sure that that overrides that setting. So let's go ahead and run it. Great to hear. Thank you. Honestly, regardless of what happens next, you shipped and sold a game, which is more than the vast majority manage. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's good to keep in mind. Yeah, it's easy to... I think it's easy to... I mean, I think I manage my expectations very well, but yeah, it's easy to have certain expectations or, you know, set expectations too high. But yeah, I think recognizing that even just shipping and selling, you know, several hundred copies of the game is a huge success in and of itself. And the other thing too is I learned so much from not just the game design side of things and not just pixel art, but also like marketing. Like I made a critical mistake, which is that I entered the game into a Next Fest like a year and a half ago before it was really ready, not realizing that I couldn't do another Next Fest later. So now I'm much more in the mindset of like, okay, I should enter the Next Fest when I'm sure that the game is basically the way it's going to be when it launches. Or ideally, I could do a Next Fest and then release the game like a month later, right? So that's something I would keep in mind. I have a better idea of how to do marketing and all that. Just all that kind of stuff. So it definitely wasn't a fruitless endeavor, that's for sure. Does your game use resource loader, singleton, load threaded request at all? No, I've tried to use load threaded requests, and I've just like, I don't know what it is about Godot, but like anything threaded related, I haven't gotten to work anyway, in any useful way at all. So I'm not I must be doing something wrong because like I've never been able to effectively use any sort of threading in Godot. Hello, Apple. Is there any design approach to game testing except by hands? I mean, the way how to catch bugs as you had with the Phantom gun. So a big part of bugs is just like, it sounds like, you know, a little bit simplistic, but a big part of managing bugs is just you have to design your code in a robust and kind of sensible way. Obviously, the more spaghetti your code is, the more unintended bugs you're going to introduce anytime you change something. So I would say is one of the strengths of Gunforged is that the systems are designed relatively well, such that when a bug occurs, like you've just seen, I just went through those couple of bugs pretty easily. Those kinds of bugs that I see tend to just be simple oversights rather than like, oh, I have no clue why this is happening. Now, don't get me wrong, some of those bugs have happened in Godot, but a robust and sort of like very sensible approach to your code architecture makes it really easy to identify and isolate bugs, and also just makes the game have less opportunity for bugs to begin with. So yeah, part of it I would say is just good code design. But yeah, in terms of testing, obviously getting play testers, testing it yourself, all that kind of good stuff is the way that you catch them. And of course you can do unit testing as well for the more sensitive systems. For the systems that are, let's say, harder to test, that have a lot of complexity, you can use unit testing. I don't do any unit testing, but if I had a sufficiently complex game, I'd definitely consider it. Thank you, Eric. Very much appreciate that. Seems like you're just supposed to pull that the load request is done. Yeah, that's what I understood, but yeah, I don't, like I said, I'm not an expert in the threaded loading. I sold my first game around 1,200 USD, and I get that money after half a year of mailing license buyer. Wild times. Wow. That's awesome, though. That's great to hear, Weslam. Thank you, Damien. I appreciate that. How did you manage to create the in-game developer console? I'm planning to add it to my game. It seems useful. Yeah, so the big thing about that is that basically, so like if I want to spawn an entity, so if I do spawn rat, and it spawns a rat there. So there's a couple of things that you need to do. One, the rat has to be a standalone sort of scene that is not dependent upon anything else, so that you can spawn the rat whenever without experiencing any bugs or crashes. But in terms of the console itself, what I have is my directory structure. I have scenes, game object, entity, and all of the entities in the game are inside of this folder right here. And all that it's doing, the debug console, is it's just, when I say spawn rat, so spawn rat, all it's doing is it's checking, okay, what is the first argument of this function? If it's spawn, then that means I'm doing a spawn command. And then the next word here is the ID of a scene, which is just, you know, it's just the name of the scene. So if I go down here, you can see rat.tscn. Now it checks and it handles like lowercase. It's case insensitive, and so I can just do all lowercase rat. And then that's all it does. And then it knows which scene. It knows based on the rat ID where to find the scene, because it's a predictable location in the file system. And it just loads that scene and spawns it in at the player position. I can also optionally add a number to spawn however many I want. And that's just as simple as checking if there's an additional argument after the ID, parsing it as a number, and then just doing a loop, right? So it's really simple. I think the easiest way to get a debug console like this built is just to have, you know, very consistent file system organization, because then it becomes really easy to just write the file name here, you know, like I could spawn mushroom 4, and there's my 4 mushrooms, you know? So yeah. So yeah, so this is looking all right. I need to modify my outline shader now to see if I can get it to use a texel size rather than individual pixel. Okay, so outline. Texture pixel size. Actually, it does seem like it's using that. Honestly, I don't know if I'm going to be able to modify this shader. I'm not very good at shaders, but we're going to see. You have a plan of starting a game jam of yourself in the future? Oh, you mean like hosting one? I don't have any plans to host a game jam, no. A kill streak. You get a boost of strength, and the more you kill, the more strength you get. But if you get hit, the strength boost resets. That's a good one. No, I understand. I understand what you're saying, Apple. Really sorry if you've been asked this already. How did the release go? Was the first 24 hours as you expected? Yeah, it was fine. I mean, it's like, I would say it was a modest success, especially for my first commercial release. So maybe I'll do a video later on like what the exact numbers were, if people are interested in that. But I would say that it's been a decent release. I'm happy with it for sure. It's not sustainable. I mean, I can't, based on the current like volume, I can't just keep releasing games that do this well. I definitely have to increase the performance, but yeah, I have time to do that, so. I definitely have time to do that. Outline. Uniform width. So where's this width at? Do I need to do a width? Do I need to do width times texture pixel size maybe? I didn't write this shader, so I don't know what's going on, but has contrary neighbor. You can tell I didn't write it because this is using the UK English version of neighbor. Let's see. I might have to do this later off stream because I don't know what's going on here, but so the problem is that, yeah, it needs to use like a full, maybe texture pixel size? Is that what it needs to be? The texture pixel size is going to be in the range of 0 to 1, so it's basically getting normalized. 0 to 1 in the Y and 0 to 1 in the X. But what I needed to do is I needed to fill like an entire... Well, I'm just going to try something here. Texture pixel size width. Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know how to change this. Except for maybe dynamically changing this width value, because if I do this, if I go to actually, where is this being used? View owners. Outline canvas group, view owners. Assembled gun, gold. Outline label. Okay, well, let's go to this. Let's do telegraph. Actually, sorry, I keep going back and forth on this. View owners, assembled gun in here. Okay, so this shader material here. This width, if I knock this up, that should... Yeah, so you can see how the outline has become thicker now around the gun. But it's actually... Yeah, this is not good, actually. Because it's smooth now instead of like harsh pixel edges. Which might be fine, but I actually need to figure out a way to make that width. I might have to increase that width based on the screen resolution or something. Yeah, I might have to do this later, but yeah, we'll see. Oh, you're very interested in a video going over the numbers? Okay. Yeah, I'll consider it. Hello, Pocket Pixie. One of your Steam reviews, only one, complains about performance of the game. Would you think that's an oddity or something to seriously consider? That's 1 out of 16 reviews. Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier in the stream. That may be related to, I mean, there are some people playing on Mac, on certain Mac configurations. I only have one Mac laptop, so maybe I'll play test Gunforged and see. But I have a feeling that that might be related to the NVIDIA drivers as well, the broken ones. So yeah, I'm not sure. I guess the short answer is that I don't know how to replicate those performance issues, because on every device that I've played, it's been fine. I played it on Linux, I played it on Windows, and I played it on Mac, and it was fine. Are DLs a good way to squeeze some additional money from the game? Oh, DLCs. I think it depends on how popular the game is. If the game doesn't sell that well, then I don't think... I think that... I mean, this is my hunch, and I could be wrong, but DLCs are almost always going to sell fewer copies than... I mean, just definitionally, they're going to sell fewer copies than the base game, right? They certainly can't sell more than the base game. And the idea that you'd get 100% DLC purchases from, you know, DLC purchases equaling the number of purchases of the base game, that's also not going to happen. So you're always going to get a fraction of DLC purchases of the base game, right? And I don't think that it would be useful. I mean, it would be a good way to squeeze additional money out of a game. Like if you sold 1 million copies, then yeah, obviously a DLC would be a great way to just get even more money out of that. But yeah, I'm not sure it would work at a smaller scale that well. Can I see your outline canvas group shader? Mine's broken. The one responsible for telegraphs. It's this shader here. I just got it off the Godot shaders website, so you can definitely check that out if you're interested. I didn't write anything special here. Cold effects are necessary. Cold runes soon. I thought about adding cold, but I couldn't differentiate cold enough from the other things that I had in the game, because I already have slow with oil, and just adding another status effect that just does damage or something. You know, freezing enemies might be interesting, but the problem with Gunforged 2 is you kill enemies so fast anyway that I don't think a freeze would be useful. So I think that that's one of the things I learned about Gunforged too, is like if my next game, I'm going to try to slow down the combat quite a bit and make it a little bit more deliberate, because then that gives you more opportunities to see how your build is actually functioning. I don't think that would have worked in Gunforged because it feels really bad to just have a horde of enemies that are just bullet sponges. So that's why I kind of leaned into like just letting the player feel super powerful all the time. But the next game that I want to make is, I'm going to definitely make the combat more deliberate, so that way you can notice your build and you can leverage status effects better and all that stuff. Hello, Apple's dog. I would also vote for a postmortem of your game. Forgive me for trying to add to your workload. I am going to do a video. I want to do a video of the making of Gunforged, which covers the entire 4 years of the release. And I want to do, you know, maybe 20 or 30-minute video going over that. And then either include the post-mortem as that, or just do a post-mortem like as a standalone video. But I do want to do that for sure. I only had one instance of really bad slowdown when the lizard shopkeeper appeared on a pretty powerful PC. That's interesting. Okay. That's really interesting. Even Factorial sold not so much DLCs compared to the main game. Yeah. Yeah, free updates might be a good way. Freezing enemies can turn enemies into temporary pillars. Yeah, I do have a pillar in the game though already, so yeah, I don't know. I think yeah, I think some of the ways that Gunforged are kind of limiting my ability to introduce new designs in, which is what I was mentioning earlier. It's like I think if I slowed down the combat, I could introduce a lot more interesting stuff, but that's just not going to work for Gunforged, I don't think. Thank you, Polaris. The hope is that the DLC could increase the main game sales. Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I still think I'd want to probably have a, you know, a pretty big mass of base game sales, though, for that to do that, but that's all right. That's all right. Everything's still kind of up in the air, but we'll see. Okay, so this outline shader here, I don't know how to get it to work the way that I want it to work. So I'm going to have to probably address this later, but I'm going to proceed with the assumption that I will be able to fix that outline shader there. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think... So wait, I just want to look at this a little bit more. Oh, there's a pattern. If I turn this pattern up and this width up here, I think the pattern determines how the outline actually works. Okay, so that pattern's not working well. Let's try a different pattern. Do I have to restart the game if I change the pattern? I need it to be pixel. I need to be like big pixels. Is that pattern working? I think so, actually. Oh, that looks good. Oh, wait. Okay, so now the other thing is I need to change this fit margin and clear margin. Let's just bump this up to 10 and 10. Oh, I think that actually accomplished what I was looking. Now that outline is actually too big. Let's go back here. So I just need this width to be changed based on what? That's the thing. I don't know what to make that width dynamically changed based off of. Because that width essentially means how many pixels wide do I want it to be. I still want it to be 1 pixel wide, but when I'm in the canvas item stretch mode, I need that number to be increased. That's still too small. I'm just playing around with it. I'm trying to figure out what number is appropriate. This is probably also going to end up being a fractional number on some screens. Oops. Maybe if they're multiplayer split screen DLC. You are welcome, Splat. But that will sold to only diehard players. I think this game's fun to play with 4 players. Yeah, I mean that's why I want to make a multiplayer game next. I think that there's kind of a niche that hasn't been filled that well, which is like online co-op roguelikes. So I'm very interested in doing that. So you can see that if I shrink the game down, I don't know if you can see that very well, but you see how the outline size doesn't change? It's still that absolute width number. And as I scale the window up, it becomes thinner in relation to everything else. So that's because the shader is drawing that outline, but like the outlines around the entities like the loot goblin here, that's part of the pixel art. And so that's just being scaled along with the art, but the outline is not being scaled at all. So it's almost like the outline needs to be a function of the screen size rather than... I wonder. That's giving me some ideas, actually. Okay, so let's get rid of this width. Do I have like a screen... Screen pixel size. Screen UV. I don't know how to debug a shader. I don't even know how I would do the screen pixel size. Yeah, I think I just have to make this width related to the screen size in some way, but like I said, I don't know how to figure that out right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and add an option to the options menu though. Got some errors in there. So the other thing is I probably need to add a scroll container to this now. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Layout, let's see. $185, $266. Let's just make it 185. Add child node, scroll container. Oops. I think I need another VBox container here. Put the scroll container in that. And then take this HBox container, move this into here. There we go. Okay. So this layout here. What am I doing? Container sizing. We don't want shrink center. We want expand. There we go. This minimum size, actually, I'm going to bump this up. Okay, and then I need to add another margin container. Here. Oops. What am I doing? Layout, container sizing, expand. Margin right 4. Just get off of the scroll bar a little bit. Okay. Goodness. That was a little bit of a hassle, but we got it. And then I also want to make this scroll container disable horizontal, follow the focus. And then I also need a controller scroll component here. Oops. Controller scroll component. We're going to put that scroll container as a reference in there. And then this here. Let's duplicate this. This is going to be a, what do we call it? Disable pixel, I don't know what to call it. Pixel chunk. What do I even call it? Disable pixelization. I don't know. Disable pixelization button. So that's going to be the way that I can change the mode of the render. Let me make sure that this works properly. Oh yeah, my marching ant shader doesn't work either. Which is not as big of a problem, but... Okay, so that still works. And I can scroll with that, so that's fine. Okay. So that button is going to need to change the render mode here. More co-op roguelikes, yeah, that's what I want to do. Probably create an item, slap the shader on it, test it in the editor first. Yeah. You were good at making progress, thank you. Smooth pixels. Ooh, that's a good one. I saw it referred as HD pixelization in another game. That's a good one. Yeah. How many years of experience do you have with programming? Many. I started programming when I was 14 and I'm 30 now, so I think I could fairly say like 16 years. Obviously, it's not 16 years of working 40-hour weeks, but I've been interested in programming ever since I was like 13 or 14. And I just always have done it, basically. I think that should be enable pixelization. Well, I want it to be, I mean, maybe, because the default is pixelization is on. I could revert it. I mean, reverse it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, so let's actually get this functional then. So what did I call this? Smooth pixels button. Smooth pixels button, aim assist button, smooth pixels button dot toggled on smooth pixels toggled. Is smooth pixels enabled. Options data is smooth pixels enabled. Okay, so is smooth pixels enabled on smooth pixels toggled. Smooth pixels button pressed is smooth pixels enabled. This menu is kind of janky, but that's all right. Okay, so now when I go in here, when we set this, we're going to call update stretch mode. And I'm going to do this. If instance dot is inside tree, just in case. Just in case this tries to get updated before there's an instance or before, I mean, I guess that wouldn't be possible, but make sure we're inside the tree before we try to set it. And then we'll do options data dot is smooth pixels enabled question mark window dot content scale mode enum dot viewport. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and run that scene. Smooth pixelization is not bad. I'm just trying to refer the option should be positive, does not contain not in it. Oh, gotcha. Hello, Defected Gaming. You said in a comment, but congrats. Nice job pushing through. Thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. It's very nice. Okay, so that's not doing anything. Oh, you know what? It's probably because I forgot to add updates. No, I added it. Update stretch mode. Oh, oops. Is I forgot to change this property. Okay. My bad. Yeah, if I could just get that shader figured out, I think it'll be fine. You started coding when I was in kindergarten. I'm learning to write when you started to code. Basically, that's amazing. Yeah, I'm old. Okay, so you can see how this is changing. So if you look at it, it's also changing the rate here, but you can see how that outline changes. Which I'm not too worried about the focus outline. Yeah, I just got to figure out how to update these various shaders and whatnot. But so now I can go to the game here and I can see how that smooth pixels is taking effect. So you can see smooth pixels, everything's nice and crisp. There's no chunkiness at all. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out how to fix those shaders. But yeah, the numbers are nice and smooth now. And then of course I can go in here. I can turn off smooth pixels and I'm back to the chunkiness. Before I forget, I'm gonna go back to my assembled gun here and change this. Oh, interesting. This needs to be reset too. That's those shader. Yeah, I gotta figure out. This is only gonna work if I can figure out those shader parameters. Options, smooth pixels. So yeah, this is this should be a little bit nicer for the people that didn't like the chunky pixel look, which is understandable. But yeah, that shader is making me worried now. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that shader working, but we'll see. I'll have to play with it a little bit. That shader's used in several places actually too. But the game looks decent otherwise. I mean, you lose some of the stylized nature of it, but that's fine. Now, wait a minute. Oh. Yeah, so the problem is not the outline shader itself. The problem is when it's used as a canvas group shader, because those are being outlined there, and these outlines are being outlined with a shader too in this gun parts section. So it's just when it's being used as a canvas group, and apparently also when it's being used in that marching ants, which I don't know. So if I can just figure out, so canvas group ends up being, it uses like the screen, it's like a screen shader, I think, or something. Anyway, yeah, I just have to get it to work in that specific context and it'll be fine. Did you give Azir any credit though? No. Nope, no credit for the cat. I'm older, yeah. Yeah, getting old. is the thing. Well, I mean, I guess I kind of don't want to just leave this. I don't know. Are you guys okay watching me struggle through trying to get the canvas group shader to work with the outline? Are you guys okay with that? Because that's really the only thing I have left to do. I mean, I've got to fix this UI issue. I could try detecting the drivers and show a warning here, but I want to get this pixelization thing disabled, or this pixelization disabling option working. So streamers, do they get older on camera? I watched you struggle through worse. Oh man, I don't know. This worse is pretty worse. This worse is pretty worse. Okay, well, I think I am going to try to struggle through that shader. Maybe those of you watching will discover something interesting about how Godot shaders work as I'm trying to struggle through it. But I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to get a refill of my drink and all that good stuff. So, yeah, I'll be right back in just a couple minutes. In the meanwhile, please check out Gunforged. It's available for purchase now. That's a great way to support my work, and I think it's a pretty fun game. I think you'll enjoy it if you enjoy that kind of game. You can also like and subscribe to the channel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Watch my devlog I released yesterday, all that good stuff. So give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back, and we'll continue on working on this Gunforged shader stuff. All right, I'm back. Thank you for your patience. Ramp up the numbers in a shader and see what will change. That's kind of the point. I think to somebody's point earlier in the chat, I think there's a way to do this in the editor that's actually going to work pretty good. So let me think though. Where is this used? View owners. So let's look at gold. Yeah, this will be a good one because I can see the outline here. So, okay. So I'm going to start just changing things. Like I said, diamond, circle, square. Yeah, I don't know why this isn't by default. Canvas group, here we go. Bit margin, okay. Canvas group. So let me do something first. I'm going to read up on canvas group. Canvas group is nice and all, but I really do wish that Godot would but I wish Godot would copy how GameMaker does the surfaces. That would be really nice. Canvas group uses a custom shader to read from the back buffer to draw its children. Assigning a material to the canvas group overrides the built-in shader. Duplicate the behavior. Okay. Sampler 2D, screen texture, repeat disable, filter nearest. Repeat disable. Okay. Okay. Let's set this to, I mean, if I set this to 2 by default, it just always stays at 1 pixel. So this is actually going to be a good test because basically the goal is to get the outline to be the same size as a single pixel rather than to be a constant. Constant 1 pixel on the screen. Texture, screen texture. That doesn't work. I don't know why in the docs it says to use texture LOD. Why does it recommend that? Does that significantly change things? I don't think so. Thank you, Breckheck. Very much appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. We're trying to figure out some shader nonsense. Okay, so texture LOD. I don't know why it wants me to use that, but that's all right. Screen pixel size. I wish I could see what this value is. Has contrary neighbor width. So where is this being used? So offset X. Color.rgb, okay. Has contrary neighbor. I think that this has contrary neighbor is what needs to change, because this is what's determining whether the pixel needs to change its size. So this offset here, you know what, let's just do this. Offset. Oh no, that's not gonna work. I don't know what any of this is doing. That's the problem. This is like alien language to me. Well, I mean, it's creating an XY UV, so texture pixel size. Should I use screen pixel size here? Oh, wait, that's being passed in, has contrary neighbor. Okay, so that's being... That's where I use texture pixel size. That doesn't do anything. Okay, that doesn't work. So screen pixel size, so that's being passed in as the texture pixel size here. Is there like a screen? I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this without. So the default like rendering is 640 by 360, right? So let's think. If the resolution is greater, I need to divide this texture pixel size by what a normal pixel size would be on a 640 by 360 screen, right? So it would be 1. That's not going to work. I think if let me just try this. Let me do this. So vec2 adjusted texture pixel size is equal to, I'm going to take that incoming texture pixel size and I'm just going to multiply it by 2.0. Does that do anything? Oh, I need to put this adjusted pixel size in here. Okay. So I'm getting there. So okay, so the problem is that, so that's an absolute value. So the problem is that it needs to be based on, so this number needs to change, this multiplier here needs to change based on like what the zoom level is, I guess, which would be what the size of the screen is. Oh goodness, that's going to be difficult, isn't it? Because if I'm zoomed out like this, obviously I don't want it to be that big. Something like that is more appropriate, right? But if I zoom in, it remains that size, because that's 10 pixels on the screen. That's not actually changing. I don't know if you can see my cursor that well, but you see how I put my cursor inside of that? It remains the same width as the cursor no matter how far I zoom in. And that's not what I want, right? I want it to be adjusted based on this. So this texture pixel size coming in, yeah, that's not gonna work, is it? I don't know if I can get a zoom level here. But this is where, like, I was thinking if I could get the standard screen size, right? So Vec2 640. This is not going to work, but that's all right. I need like the difference between these things. So float scale multiplier is equal to texture pixel size divided by, no, this is not going to work. Did I do the scale multiplier wrong? I mean, if this is like 1280 by 720, so this is going to be, oh, this is, does this need to be reversed? Wait. Oh, you know what? This needs to be 1.0 over 640 and 1.0 over 360. Okay, we've got some black back in. Now, does this need to be reversed? I think so. Okay, that appears to be working a little bit. No, it doesn't. I don't know what I'm doing. We want the pixel size of the width should be the same as the pixel of the texture, as I understand. Yeah, ChatGPT might be able to help. I'm tempted to do that. Screen size divided by rendering size or vice versa. So that's what I'm trying to do. I mean, I guess I don't really have a screen size though. I have the texture pixel size. So that's coming with the screen pixel size. So I'm getting the individual size of a screen pixel. That's what I'm doing. So I'm getting a screen pixel size. I basically need to scale that up to be a texture pixel size. Or the way I'm trying to determine the scale is by using the base resolution I have. So 640 by 360 is the base resolution. So let me just define that. Base. Base resolution pixel size is equal to this. Adjusted texture pixel size. Do I have this backwards? So if this is whatever this 1 over 640 is and 1 over 360, whatever this texture pixel size is coming in, if it's larger, it's going to be smaller, right? So I don't know. Let's just say I noticed that sometimes the editor shader previews aren't accurate. Yeah, that could be the case. Hello, Emerson. Thank you so much for the congratulations. Very much appreciate that. I wish I could debug this. Texture pixel size times scale multiplier. Okay, so this, I'm just gonna reverse these. I don't think that's what I need to do, but no, this doesn't have an effect, right? That's just canceling it out. Yeah, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Let me think. So the screen pixel size is going to be smaller than the base resolution pixel size. So if it's going to be smaller, so like 1280 by 720, each individual pixel UV is going to be smaller. In order to get the proper scale multiplier, I need to take the base resolution pixel size I'm gonna do this math real quick. So if I have 1 over 640, that ends up being 0.0015, and then 1 out of 1280, 0.0078. Okay, so if I do 0.0015 divided by 0.0078, that gives you 0.2. What in the world? Oh wait, am I doing this wrong? I have no clue how to make this work. I'm just making a fool of myself. Screen texture, maybe. Well, that's what's coming in here. I'm just trying to get the pixel UV to be scaled properly. Do I have a screen size? I have screen pixel size. I could use texture size. So wait, I could do this. Vec2 scale is equal to texture size. Screen texture. What? What? Invalid arguments? Oh, I need to pass in a level of detail. What? Needs to be an int. Invalid assignment of ivec2 to vec2. Ivec2. Okay, so can I cast it like that? Okay, perfect. Jeepers. All right. So this is my screen texture size. And to determine the scale now, I can take this screen size. So var scale multiply, var, don't want to do that. Scale multiplier is equal to screen size divided by base resolution size. Is that working at all? Well, it might work because, I mean, I think the editor zoom is causing problems, but let's see if that works. Or we see if made a complete fool of myself. Well, one of those things will happen. One of those things will happen. Did I get it? Is the outline shader working? Holy moly. Okay, options, smooth pixels. Turn that off. Outline shader's working. Ooh. Did we do it? And the thing about this game is I have it locked to that 640 by 360 aspect ratio, so there's bars on the side, so I don't need to worry about like the height being different or anything. Wow, did I do it? Oh my gosh. Wait. Can't believe that actually happened. I need some gold to drop so I can see how that... Look at that! Oh, my loot goblin picked it up. G-dang loot goblin. I'll get rid of him so that way I can actually test this properly. I think we made it. Let's go. So I guess my problem was I was trying to take a scaled linear value of 0 to 1 and somehow map it to another value of 0 to 1. But what I really needed to do was do resolution, or like total resolution to total resolution. And that will give me the scale factor. Look at that. And now I'll just make sure if I go here, turn smooth pixels, see how it becomes chunky again. Look at that. Wow. Okay, now I got to figure out how to get the marching ants to do the same thing. It should be a relatively similar fix, I think. Okay, so we got smooth pixels now. So that makes everything a lot crispier. These outline shaders are still working. It's only the canvas group outline shader that needed to change. Okay, so this adjusted pixel texture size, scale multiplier, base resolution size, that should all be fine. Cool. Okay, all right. Now the thing is, I probably don't need to do that. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. I can do those calculations in here though, instead. So I don't need to do it in there. I might move this around a little bit. So if I take this texture pixel size here, bring these out. This should be adjusted screen pixel size. Okay, I think that's fine. Yeah. I don't know, it just makes more sense to do it in there and just pass everything in there. So let me make sure that that still works and I didn't break anything. GG's, yes indeed. Shaders aren't that scary. Okay, it still seems to be working fine. Oops. What am I doing? Options. Turn off smooth pixels. Still got that crunchiness. Okay. Actually, the game does not look... I was pretty adamant about... I mean, this changes that... But that's fine. So I was pretty adamant about the pixel crunchiness, but a lot of people didn't like it, so I think this option is going to be great. Okay, so let's figure out the marching ants now. So I've got really thin marching ants here. Firstly, I should probably commit what I have. So smooth pixels. Let me just make sure all this is good. So options data is smooth pixels enabled. Options manager. Update stretch mode. Cool. Options menu, gold. Is that right? Gold. Yep, might as well put that in there. Assembled gun. Let me just make sure that this looks good too. With the different pattern. Actually, that looks not right now. I'm actually going to put this back to 0. And put the gold back to 0 as well. Just make sure it all looks fine. You could set base screen size as 164, 136, move it outside of a cycle and use multiply instead of a division. Oh, I see. There we go, that looks good. Hello, TS Prototype. Set base screen size. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Move it outside of a cycle and use multiply instead of division. So I multiply the... What do I multiply? I'm a subscriber to your channel and also CEO of an indie company. I was wondering if you are willing to help us out, collaborate with us. No, thank you for asking. I'm not interested in doing any collaborations or anything. At least not on game projects. Trying to do my own thing, you know? But thank you for asking. Okay, I'm going to commit all this, but then I'm going to try your suggestion, Weslam. Put that. Okay, so all of these are changes that I wanted to make. Cool. All right. Make outline shader work with small pixels. Or smooth pixels, whatever. Yeah, thank you, TS Prototype. Appreciate that. I don't know if it would help, but maybe consider using an HD font too, maybe another option. Yeah, that would only be available on the smooth pixel option though, because it wouldn't... HD font wouldn't work right if you had the rendering mode disabled. Also, all of my engraved labels are not... Yeah, it's like... That's the other problem with like localization is a huge problem because like my fonts don't have a lot of the characters that are necessary. So I'm definitely going to keep all this in mind with when I do my next game. I think what I'm going to do is probably do more of the smooth pixel approach just because it's just going to be easier instead of the pixelated chunky look. But anyway. So the scale would be, oh, would it be this? Screen size, oh, I see. So you're saying, oh, the multiplication would just be the same. I got you, yeah. I think I'll just leave it like this. Yeah, I could multiply by 1 over 640 here. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I know that division takes longer on a CPU, but I don't know if it has that much of an impact on a GPU. Anyway, why do I keep opening this? Now it's pointless. Okay, I gotcha. I gotcha. All right, so that works. Now we got to figure out the marching ants. Ant width. Okay, so this is an entirely different beast here. Ant width is an absolute pixel term, so I think I just need the same scale factor, right? So let's just do this. Float scale factor is equal to well, now this is a totally different thing because I don't have a screen texture. Scale factor. See, I'm just going to try to do the same thing now. It's not going to work. Let's see. Let me just go to my ingot button here. I turn on the focus indicator. Whoa. Divided by 640. 1.0. Divided by 360. I have no clue if this is going to work, but let's do this. Did that work? Did that work? I guess we'll find out. You have it once now. Okay, yeah. I have a rough working implementation of a threaded loading now. Oh, how did you get that? Let's see. Thank you for your stream. Have fun and learning shaders and Godot. Need to go. Congrats with your game. See you next time. Thank you, Westlam. It was great having you here. Hope to see you in a future stream, and have a good day. Added the functionality in the scene manager so you can add preloads besides the scene path and then reference the preloaded resource from the autoload instead of the scene manager. Oh, I see. Oh, very nice. Yeah, that sounds nice. What am I doing? Oh, I need to see. Okay, so this is looking good, actually. The problem, though, is that I also need to change... Do I need to change the speed, too? So the thickness looks correct, but there's something else that needs to change in here. What is even all this? I'm going to multiply scale factor here. Oh, that didn't do anything. Did I just guess and get it right? Let's see. Oh my gosh, I got it to work exactly the same. I totally guessed what I needed to do. And now the marching ants are working exactly the same in both smooth pixels and... Oh, perfect. Wow, I can't believe that worked. I can't believe it. Goodness gracious. Actually, you know what I just realized? If I needed to support a variable height, well, I guess I would have to keep the would I have to keep the aspect ratio the same? I actually think I could just use either the X or the Y scale. But anyway. I guess it would, no, it would only be if the aspect ratio is the same. All right, so smooth pixel option is now available. This menu is scrollable now. All these things still work, I think. Show crosshair on controller. Yeah, everything still works. And smooth pixels is enabled by default. I just want to see what happens if I start up the game now. If I start up the game with smooth pixels enabled, if that's going to break anything. It shouldn't. There we go. Alrighty. I think that's working great. We'll just do a little bit of play testing here just to make for absolute sure. I'm playing with a controller right now, so... You just need to pull the threaded loader if it's done with loading a file each frame with process, and then you must keep track of which file you're trying to load so you can retrieve it. I see. That's very interesting. Seems kind of obtuse a little bit. Hell yeah, very nice, thank you. Hey man, just wanted to swing by and say congrats on the launch. Hoping I can purchase it soon. Got $5 on my Steam. Just got to add a few extra bucks there. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, I appreciate that. I thank you everyone for your support. It's very, very much appreciated. And you all are the reason why Gunforged was a modest success. So thank you very much. I very much appreciate that. I mean, as it stands right now, I think that the Gunforged sales are going to increase my runway here, my savings by at least a couple of months. I would say a month or two, which is a huge amount of time, really. I mean, 4 weeks is a lot of time, and if with a concerted game dev effort. So that may be the difference between being able to finish my next game and sell it versus having to go find another job, you know? So I very much appreciate that. And yeah, I learned a lot with Gunforged. You know, there's a lot that I would change about the game. I'm not going to change because that would just fundamentally alter the game's identity at this point, and I don't want to do that because there are people that like the game as it is. But when I go into my next game, there's a lot of things that I've learned that I'm gonna carry over, and my hope is that each game that I make is the best game I've ever made. Gunforged is definitely the best game that I've ever made, but I hope it's not. It doesn't remain that way, if you know what I mean. I hope that within a year's time I could say Gunforged is no longer the best game I've ever made. But we'll see. We will see. Ouch. This is feeling really good, though. With the smooth pixels. Oh, you know what? The telegraph indicators need to be fixed, too. Interesting. Okay, I need to fix the telegraphs, too. I'm glad I caught that. Let's go ahead and do that. I don't know why that's the case, though. I think it's probably just a different shader item. I think it is, actually. So if I go to my base level or base room, yeah, there's like an... Is there a reason why? Oh, yeah, I did have to modify this. Okay, so this should be as simple as just taking this here, copy and pasting it here as a standalone thing. I might... Well, that's fine. And then pass in this adjusted screen pixel size in there. That should have the same effect now in the... with the telegraphs. So let's spawn mushroom and let's see. Yep, so those outlines become a lot better now. Instead of being thin, if we spawn maggot. Yeah, so that's back to normal now. Let me see something. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so now if I turn off smooth pixels, I'm back to the standard width. I'm gonna actually go in here, spawn zombie tycoon, make sure that all of this looks correct. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay, and then if I go to options, smooth pixels, so that changes everything. Game actually doesn't feel bad with smooth pixels on, actually. Yeah, I might. I was really fond of the crunchy pixel look, but everything looks so much clearer with this on. I think I'll just probably use that style by default for my next game. I'm still going to do pixel art because, well, that's the only art skill that I have at the moment, but I think, yeah, just making it smooth like this, like the higher resolution, it actually feels really good. It feels much smoother. It's easier to read everything. Okay, maybe my players had a point. I probably would still play this game on the crunchy pixel mode, though. But, yeah, that option is now available. Thank you, Godot, for making that pretty easy. want to change this back to invisible. Okay. So that's done. I think I'll probably release an update with these fixes here so I can spend some more time on these ones. Those are going to take a little bit longer, but I think that that's going to be those are going to be good additions. So before I forget, project settings. I'll just show you what I need to do to build the game too. I think I already did, but I'll actually run the build. Let's change this to major, minor, patch revision. Let's just do 1.1. Okay. I don't think that version is super important, but that's all right. Okay, so now what I do is I just do this. Open up my console, node zipper.mjs -- all. And that rebuilds my directory structure for my outputs. And then it starts all of the exports in headless mode. So I don't have to do it through the Godot UI anymore. And that script is very straightforward. It's a Node.js script. Where is it? Here. So it's a Node.js script. I just got a bunch. It's not very extensible, but I just got a bunch of constants up here related to all the things that I need to copy and paths and whatnot. And then when I put all, it cleans a directory, so it deletes and rebuilds the directory structure so that I'm starting with a clean structure. And then it builds. This is calling the Godot exe path headless, pointing to the project, exporting it for release using whatever preset I'm currently on, and then the output path for that preset. And then it's changing the Windows application icon here with RC edit because some reason Godot doesn't do that. And then copy dependencies happen, and what happens in here is it unzips the Mac zip files because that's how Godot default exports them. And then once the Mac files are unzipped, it copies over all of the Steam API binaries into the proper locations for me. And then once that's done, I can just start up the Steamworks, the Steam build GUI, and I click upload, and that's it. So yeah, I'll be releasing this probably just within a few minutes here. I'm not going to do it on stream because that's there's a lot of sensitive info that I can't show off, but once it makes the Twitch and YouTube circuit, hopefully the sales pick up. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's got a week-long launch discount, so I'll see how it goes this week. Not bat files. No, thank you. I mean, Node.js is so nice because it's got all those path utils for you, like path.join, and you don't have to worry about formatting the paths correctly. It's just super nice. Just super nice. But yeah, this is exporting and it'll be done real soon. The Mac exports take a while, I think, because it has to zip everything up. Let's take a peep at the let's look at the Gunforged Steam page again. There's me, I'm playing. Is there anyone in the chat? Nope. 20 positive reviews, 90% positive. Check that out, that's nice. Cool game, could use some quality of life changes. That's a pretty common point of feedback. This error, I need to look into that. I think this is a problem with this user being offline on Steam. At least that's what my Google showed. I love it. That's a nice one to see. These kinds of reviews are very helpful, the pros and cons. This is what I was talking about here too. Single room is a limiting design choice. I think that's probably accurate, but you know, I figured since games like Brotato don't have very complex rooms, it was fine. I mean, this game kind of borrowed its room layouts from Tiny Rogues and Brotato, and Tiny Rogues, the room layouts are simple, super simple too. Now, Tiny Rogues also has a lot more just complexity into the game, so character art is my favorite. That's what I was talking about earlier that makes me laugh. That's a good review. Let's see. This is a nice... Oh, Aramis. Thank you, Aramis. Very much appreciate that. Fun and satisfying. Juice is excellent. Onboarding, yeah, onboarding is a problem. I have that written down too. I'm going to be seeing if I can make that tutorial look better. Yeah, I already read this one. This is all related to the onboarding experience there. Don't understand some of the systems. That's my fault. I think the onboarding will fix that. This one's got some good feedback. It's negative review, but yeah, more polish. So yeah, I mean, so far so good though. 20 positive reviews. That's very nice. Thank you for everyone who left a review. That's appreciated. And there's a lot of good feedback in there that I'm going to be trying to address here in the next couple weeks. Rather to deal with bats than bat files. Yeah, true. I wouldn't use bat, but I would use shell script for this. Oh, interesting. Yeah. As a JS, TS, Andy, I approve of this. Thank you, Omri. Very much appreciate that. So yeah, the new version of Gunforged is built, which means I'll be uploading that. Oh, is this just white space differences? What is going on here? Okay. Reload, reload, reload. Maybe I shouldn't I might rerun the export. I don't trust that Godot did that correctly, so I'm gonna rerun that. So yeah. Not much else to say. I mean, I guess I can just hang out for a bit and wait for this to build again, but forgot to mention, did I encounter a bug where my 3 bodyguards got turned into 1? Maybe they all stacked up on top of each other? It's possible. I will say that the bodyguards, the way that they work now, I nerfed them quite substantially because they were very strong. So the way that it works now is that you only get 1 bodyguard back per wave. So if you have 3 stacks of Secret Service, that passive, you can have up to 3 bodyguards, but you only get 1 regenerating at the end of each wave. So if you end up getting that regenerated one and you take damage again, you're only going to get 1 back. And that was a balance change because if you get all of them back, then you basically just get 3 free health. And there were a lot of comments that said it was too strong, and I agreed with it. So my choices were either to remove the stacking capabilities of that Secret Service and just give you 1 bodyguard, or give you the opportunity to have 3 bodyguards, but you can only get 1 back at the end of a wave, which means that you still have to avoid taking damage if you want that protection. So that may be what you encountered, but it could be a bug as well. I'm not sure. Like, I would have to know more about your experience there, but... So yeah, definitely, if you guys are interested, check out Gunforged. I would very much appreciate that. It's, what is it? $7.19 USD. Full controller support. Yeah, definitely consider purchasing that. It's a great way to help me out. And leave a review, an honest review, if you are so inclined. I would very much appreciate that as well. And yeah, I guess there's not much else to say unless there are any other questions in the chat. But thank you all for your support. And yeah, you guys have made this launch, I would say, very successful so far. So thank you. My impression was that it'd be 3 individual familiars that block damage and then respawn at the end of the wave. Yeah, so you can have 3 of them. It's just you only get 1 back at the end of each wave. So yeah. All right, then. Yeah, thank you. All right, thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you for hanging out. Check out the links in the description below, and I will be back at it tomorrow. I think what I might do tomorrow is either address some of these things if I haven't done so by today, although I'll probably spend today working on these things. So there's a good chance that tomorrow we'll be prototyping some new game ideas. Probably will end up working on that online co-op roguelike game that I wanted to make, but I also have another interesting game that I'm not as excited about because there's another game on Steam that recently did the idea better. So, but I may end up showing that on the stream tomorrow as well. So we'll see. But anyway, have a good day, everyone. And I've been slacking, but I just bought the game now. Thank you, Christopher. I appreciate that. Very much appreciated. All right, have a good day, everyone. I will see you in tomorrow's stream, and bye-bye.